Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of the coffin. You tried lifting the lid. The weight of the dirt is just too tremendous. Lid won't open. You try banging on the lid, maybe to unsettle the dirt, and somebody will start digging their way down towards you. This is what it's like to feel to abuse alcohol and drugs. You know you need help. You know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know which way to turn. In reality, there are probably people standing by your grave. You just don't know that. You just think you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might overdose and take something away from you that was given to you by God? And worse than that, more selfishly than that, you're taking it away from your children, your grandchildren, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, husband or wife. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person that I just read about on these index cards right here, that waited and waited until it was too late. Instead, be a person that reaches out today for help by calling me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise you I'll help you take your life back, for your life is gone. There are people like Larry Geis, 30 years experience as a life coach, as an addiction recovery coach. You can reach him at 516-458-2741 or www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis and I always tell people like you, it doesn't matter where you came from, it doesn't matter where you've been. What matters is that you're here today looking for help and you want a better tomorrow. Reach out to Larry Geis. Have him help you from your addiction to your recovery, from depression to happier times, from low self-esteem to improve your self-esteem. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy, 516-458-2741. Folks, please take your slippers off at night. Don't put them by the edge of your bed. Put them under your bed, all the way under. That way in the morning, when God allows you to wake up to another beautiful day that you can see nice stream and waterfalls like this, you get up and you go under your bed. Reach under your bed. Retrieve those slippers. While you're on your knees, I call it knee mail. Use your Knee mail to reach out to God. Thank God for that scenery you get to see with those eyes that He created and gave to you. Thank God for the home that you're living in, the clothing that you're wearing, the food on your table, the husband and your wife, and the children that you have. Ask God for guidance and direction. Ask God for forgiveness and mercy. Once you had your chat, which I hope you do each and every morning, at night you put the slippers under the bed, in the morning you pick them up. Put your slippers on, stand straight up, roll your shoulders back, stick out your chest, and walk with God 24/7. Knee mail, Knee mail, your personal connection to God each and every day, 24/7. What I want to talk about is 18 practical tips for living in the golden rule. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Leviticus 19:18. So, what is the golden rule, and how do you live by it? Well, we have 18 practical tips for you. One of the few rules that I try to live by in my life and fail every day trying is the golden rule. I love the simplicity of the golden rule. Its tendency to make and interact happier. Let me just fix this a little bit. And its tendency to make me happier as well. It's true, the rule of treating others as you would want to be treated in their place will ultimately lead you to your own happiness. Let's say that you apply the golden rule to in all of your interactions with other people, and you and your neighbors and maybe your family, and then you start treating them with kindness. You go the extra mile for your co-workers. You help strangers in need. Now, those actions will undoubtedly be good for the people you help and are kind to, but you'll also notice a strange thing. People will treat you better too, certainly. I believe in karma. Beyond that, though, you will find a grown satisfaction in yourself, a belief in yourself, a knowledge that you are a good person, and trust in yourself. Those are not small dividends. They are huge, and for that reason, not even considering that our world would be a better place if more people lived by this rule, the golden rule, I recommend that you make the golden rule the focus of your actions each and every day and try to live by it as strong as you can. I will admit that there are strong arguments against the golden rule, that there are exceptions and logic arguments that the golden rule, taken to extremes, falls apart. I am not concerned about that stuff. The truth is on a day-to-day basis, living by the golden rule will make you a better person, will make those around you happier, and will make the community you live in a better place to live. With that in mind, let's take a look at some of the practical tips for the golden rule in your daily life. Practice empathy. Make it a habit to try to place yourself in the shoes of the other person. Any person, loved ones, co-workers, people you meet on the street, really try to understand them to the extent that you can, what it's like to be them and what's going on in their mind. Next one would be practice compassion. Once you can understand another person and feel what they're going through, learn to want to end their suffering, and when you can, take even a small action to somehow ease their suffering in some little way that you can. How would you want to be treated? The golden rule doesn't really mean that you should treat someone else exactly how you want to be treated. It means that you should try to imagine how they want to be treated and do that, and then in exchange in your mind say, is that how I want to be treated? Excuse me. Ask yourself, how would you want to be treated if you were in that situation? John F. Kennedy did that during the controversial days of the segregation in the 1960s, asking white Americans to imagine being looked down upon and be treated badly because only on the color of their skin. He asked them to imagine how they would want to be treated if they were in that situation and act accordingly towards the blacks. Be friendly. When in doubt, follow this tip. It's usually safe to be friendly towards others. Of course, there are times when others just don't want someone acting friendly towards them, and you should be sensitive to that also. Don't be over-friendly. You should also be friendly within the bounds of appropriateness. But who doesn't like to feel welcome and wanted? Be helpful. This is probably one of the weaknesses of our society. Sure, there are many people who go out of their way to be helpful, and I applaud them, but in general there is a tendency to keep to yourself and to ignore the problems of others. Don't be blind to the needs and troubles of others. Look to help them before you're asked. Be courteous in traffic, another weakness of our society. There are few times when we are as selfish as when we're driving as when we would be in any other matter. We don't want to give up the right of way. We cut people off. We honk and curse. Perhaps in isolation of the automobile, we certainly act that rude in person most of the time, so try to be courteous in traffic. Listen to others, another weakness. We all want to talk, but very few of us want to listen. It is quite important to listen, and yet we all want to be listened to. So take the time to actually listen to another person, and that, my friend, will go a long way. Overcome prejudice. We all have our prejudices, whether it's based on our skin color, attractiveness, height, age, or gender. It's human nature, I guess. But try to see the person as an individual, human being with different backgrounds, needs, and dreams, and try to use these commonalities between you and the person despite your differences. Stop criticism. We all have a tendency to criticize others, whether it's the people we know or people we see on TV. However, ask yourself if you would like to be criticized in that person's situation. The answer is almost no each and every time. So hold back your criticism. Instead, learn to interact with the other person in a positive way. Don't control others. It's also rare that people want to be controlled. Trust me. So you don't do it. It's the difficult thing, especially if we are conditioned to control people. But when you get the urge to control, put yourself in that person's shoes. You would want the freedom as they would want it. Be a child. To urge, to control, and to criticize is especially strong when we are adults dealing with children. In some cases, it's necessary, of course. You don't want the child to hurt themselves, for example. But in most cases, it's not. Put yourself in the shoes of the child. Remember what it's like to be a child. Go back into your memory bank and remember when you were a child. Send yourself a reminder. Email yourself daily a reminder. I am still a child in my mind. Tie a string to your finger or give yourself some other reminder throughout the day so that you don't forget to follow the golden rule in all interactions with other people. Perhaps a fake golden ring on your keychain, a tattoo, post it on your wall, or make it in your home page. The golden rule makes a great mantra and a great poster. Rise above retaliation. We have a tendency to strike back when we are treated badly. This is natural. Resist the urge. The golden rule isn't about retaliation. It's about treating others well despite how they treat you. Does that mean that you should be a doormat? Of course not. You have to assert your rights, of course, but you can do it in a way that's very diplomatic, yet kind, yet sensitive. Remember Jesus' wise but difficult to follow advice. Turn the other cheek. Be that change. Gandhi famously told us to be the change we want to see the world. Well, we often think of a quote as applying to grand changes such as poverty and racism and violence. Well, sure, it does apply to those things, but it also applies at a much smaller scale to all the small interactions between people. Do you want people to treat each other more with compassion and kindness? Then let it start with you. Even if the world doesn't change, at least you have attempted and you have succeeded in that change. Notice how it makes you feel. Notice how your actions affect others, especially when you start to treat them with kindness, compassion, respect, trust, and love. But also notice the change in yourself. Do you feel better about yourself? Happier, more secure, more willing to trust others? And now that you trust yourself, these changes come slowly in small increments. But if you pay attention, you'll see them. Say a prayer. There is a prayer on the Golden Rule attributed to Eusebius of Caesarea that would be worth saying once a day. It includes the following lines among others. May I gain no victory that harms me or my opponent. May I reconcile friends who are mad at each other. May I, insofar as I can, give all necessary help to my friends and to all who are in need. May I never fail a friend in trouble. This is what it's like to live the Golden Rule. It is not a hard thing to do. It's really just being kind and loving to each other. Try to live the Golden Rule. Try to do it each and every day. Remember, I just want to remind everyone, I do keep hard copies of everything that I do, every single show. So if you didn't catch everything and you want a hard copy, you can email me at Ralf, R-A-L-F, at Take Your Life Back Today Show, or you can call me at 844-405-HELP, or you can text me at 631-599-0218. Either which way, I have a hard copy. Get a hold of me. I hope you have a great day, but more importantly, I hope and I pray you have a sober life. Take care.